Like, how do you invest in the
So
stablecoin?
indirectly, right now, it is through Coinbase. They have a deal with Circle. Any revenue that Circle generates, its stablecoin is USDC.
Yeah.
Any revenue, they split 50-50
Okay.
in the U.S. Circle itself has announced that it is going public, and so we're looking forward to that.
And what's the sort of psychology or mentality one has to adopt to be a good investor?
Depends what you've bought. If you buy a strategy like ours, which would be in the aggressive growth strategy, put it in, averaging in over time, just like with Bitcoin, as I mentioned earlier, averaging in over time.
What does averaging in mean?
Averaging in means, buy a little every month, so maybe every payday. I think one of my daughters was buying Bitcoin every week, but not a Bitcoin. She couldn't do that. A Satoshi, so. And close your eyes. This is a long-term investment. If we're right, according to our analysis. Now, this is our research, our analysis, no promises. We can't do that. But according to our research, the technologies around which we have centered our research and which have focused our investments, we believe will go up more than tenfold in the next 5 to 10 years. And that's how much explosive growth we have ahead of us as these technologies converge and create incredible opportunities for investors. And, I'm hearing a lot of people, as they get into investing, of course, they have their day jobs. But once they have accrued enough, they're making choices about dialing down their day jobs and spending more time investing. You asked, what are some of the jobs of the future going to be? I think individual investors are going to be providing for themselves if they are investing on the right side of change.
So if you're right, that means that by investing in your fund, I would make 1,000% return, roughly.
Yes, no promises, but this is all based on research, and you can find it in our Big Ideas. Big Ideas 2025 is on our website, arc-invest.com. And you can find a lot more information about our funds on arc-funds.com.
And I should probably say this is not investing advice.
It is not. And I want to make sure. Do your own research.
You can lose all of your money.
Yes.
You can lose all of it if you decide to do any of these things.
But that's why we put ARC-Invest separate from the fund site, because that's just research. Learn what you're investing in, or learn why we've invested the way we have. That's what we do all day long, is we try and help. Well, first of all, we're doing the research. We are making the investments. But I think one of the most important things we do is communicate what we're doing and why we're doing it.
What do you think of Trump, tariffs, everything that's going on in America at the moment? What's, for the average person, should they be concerned? Are you bullish? Do you think Trump's got it right?
If you look at what happened to the equity market when Trump was elected.
The stock market.
Yes, the stock market. It went crazy to the upside, as did our strategy. And why? The promise was deregulation, and that, I think, is underestimated. How important it is, because we're strangling in regulation. It's just, this is not our DNA. We got to get out from under this. Lower taxes, lower interest rates is what he wants, of course, and lower tariffs. What he didn't tell us was exactly how he was going to go about that process. And it has felt chaotic, and I've had to go out and explain what's going on, try to explain what's going on. And I have to tell you, it scared me silly to see what was going on, because I knew that businesses were paralyzed and that we could have a mess on our hands. And I certainly communicated through my channels. Art communicated through his channels. In fact, I think in one publication he said, I have never been more scared in my career. And we were trying to really get into Trump's head. And I know President Trump listens to art, but he also listens to a lot of other people, one of whom was Peter Navarro, who seemed to have a hold on Trump when it came to tariffs. And yet, when I saw Treasury Secretary Bessent really push aside Navarro, and that could only happen with Trump, I knew we were going to be okay. I knew we were going to be okay. Because throughout all of this chaos, I think what he is trying to do is not only get tariffs on the U.S. down throughout the world, but maybe more important, get non-tariff trade barriers down. Like, for example, I didn't even know the UK would not accept our beef or ethanol. Well, now you're accepting our beef and ethanol. I don't know if people in the supermarkets will buy it, but anyway, this one. But other countries, many more non-tariff trade barriers, and so he is just trying to bust that up. Make it more visible. For example, Canada, I think they charged a 250% tariff on our milk. And one of President Trump's promises was to take care of the farmers. Okay, that's why you see the rhetoric around Canada. Now, do I agree with his style? I would never do it that way. I'd never do it that way. And it was unfathomable, for me, because he is sensitive to business, and he must have known that everything was going to stop. And but he also knows that he has to sound crazy for other people to take him seriously, and people have to believe he will do crazy things in order for people to take him seriously, and he does do crazy things.
So do you think it's going to work out?
I do.
You do.
And I think the stock market is beginning to smell it.
If I just had to invest in one stock right now, what stock would you recommend I invested in?
Okay, well, I have to give you
Your portfolio.
top pick.
So it would be Tesla.
It would be Tesla if I had to give you one stock.
Okay, interesting.
Because think about it. It is a convergence among three of our major platforms. So robots, energy storage, AI. And it's not stopping with robo-taxis. There's a story beyond that with humanoid robots. And our $2,600 number has nothing for humanoid robots. We just thought it'd be an investment period. And, but I think he's going to start generating not only productivity gains internally, but revenues from humanoid robots.
What are you concerned about in terms of the way that the world is going and everything that's happening? What are the things that keep you up at night? I've got many a concern, so I've got many unanswered questions and worries about how things might play out, but keen to hear yours.
I am such an optimist. I really do have to dig down deeply. If you had asked me this a few weeks ago, I would have said, this tariff situation is going to blow the global economy up if we're not careful. So I'm much more settled about that right now. I'd have to say I am concerned that there are going to be people caught out by these new technologies and for whatever reason not willing to adapt, because there are going to be huge opportunities if they do. And so one of the reasons we give away our research, I'm very honored to do a podcast like this, is to get that word out. There is so much information available. You can just go to our site and listen to our podcasts. And if anything inspires you, go for it, because the opportunities are going to be enormous.
When you say you're concerned people might get caught out
in, disrupted industries. I mean, we think the whole transportation industry is going to be disrupted. We think retail as we know it's going to be disrupted as we
Retail is in like shops and stuff and...
Yes, although if they adapt with more social, personal experiences, I think that anything physical, you'll want to have a social dynamic associated with it. But in terms of what I think is going to happen to retail, is we're going to have our personal shopping assistants, and they're going to anticipate what we want, which I can't wait. I hate shopping. Anticipate what we want, or basically flag something that they know we would like if we knew it were available. And